Hello friends! On January 1st, 2024, while the rest of the world was celebrating the new year, a massive 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit Japan. In the western part of the country, the quake caused huge destruction, and sadly, dozens of people lost their lives. This wasn't just one earthquake. Many more, both big and small, happened right after. In just one day, there were over 155 earthquakes in total. Because of this, the sea created waves almost a meter high that crashed into Japan's west coast. Japan's weather agency even issued a major tsunami warning. That warning was later lowered, but the earthquake itself still caused a lot of damage. Dozens of buildings were totally destroyed, and thousands of homes lost power. Fires broke out in many areas, and by January 2nd, around 55 people had been reported killed. This brings up two big questions. First, why do so many earthquakes and tsunamis happen in Japan? And second, how does Japan handle these disasters so well? If an earthquake this strong had happened in another country, thousands might have died. But in Japan, the number of deaths is still below 100. So how does Japan protect itself? Let's find out in today's video. This recent earthquake is being called the 2024 Sea of Japan earthquake, or the Noto Peninsula earthquake. You can see exactly where it happened on the map. Japan has an area called the Noto Peninsula. You might remember from school that a peninsula is a piece of land with water on three sides. The center of the earthquake was right there. The Sea of Japan is on the west side. This area is about 500 kilometers from Tokyo, Japan's capital. But the shaking was still felt all the way in Tokyo. So for our first question, why do so many earthquakes happen in Japan? The answer is right here on this map. This map shows the world's 16 major tectonic plates. Tectonic plates are like giant pieces of the Earth's outer shell. Heat from the Earth's core makes these plates move very slowly. Over many years, these 16 main plates drift around. When they bump into each other, it causes an earthquake. That's why the countries located on the edges of these plates have the most earthquakes. What's special about Japan is that it sits right where four different tectonic plates meet: the Pacific Plate, the Philippine Plate, the Eurasian Plate, and the North American Plate. This is the main reason why Japan has so many earthquakes. The Pacific Plate is also the most active one. Its edge is called the Pacific Ring of Fire, because it's where most of the world's earthquakes and volcanoes happen. This is true for other plates too. Countries on their edges have more earthquakes. For example, the border between the Indian Plate and the Eurasian Plate runs near Nepal and the Himalayas. That's why Nepal has such bad earthquakes. The quakes we feel in North India often start between these two plates. Now think about places like Australia, Russia, or Europe, where you rarely hear about earthquakes. It's not that they never happen, but for areas in the middle of these plates, earthquakes are much less common and not as strong. This is because there are also smaller plates within the big ones, and sometimes their movements cause smaller shakes. The way these plates crash into each other creates different kinds of boundaries. For example, at a convergent boundary, one plate slides underneath another. At a divergent boundary, two plates move away from each other. And at a transform boundary, they slide past each other. The worst earthquakes happen at convergent and transform boundaries. The Pacific Plate's edge is a convergent boundary, specifically a type called a subduction zone. This is where the most powerful earthquakes happen, because one plate gets pushed completely under the other and into the Earth's mantle. When this happens, it creates a very deep valley in the ocean floor called a trench. These trenches are the deepest parts of the ocean, often 3 to 4 kilometers deeper than the seafloor around them. The deepest spot on Earth, the Mariana Trench, is one of these. You've probably heard of it, but you might not know that there's a huge trench right next to Japan, called the Japan Trench. The ocean there is 8.4 kilometers deep. Very few countries are located so close to such a deep part of the ocean. Take a look at this map. It shows the depth of the ocean around the world. The lighter the color, the shallower the water, and the darker the color, the deeper it is. If you look at the coasts of most countries, like India, Africa, or South America, you'll see a light color. But now, zoom in on Japan. You'll see a big, dark area right next to it. That's the Japan Trench, and the Pacific Ring of Fire runs right over it. Because the plates are moving here, You get terrible earthquakes, a super deep ocean, and the most volcanoes. This is also why Japan gets more tsunamis than anywhere else. The coast is so close to the trench that tsunami waves don't have far to travel, which means there's very little time to send out a warning. This makes Japan extremely open to tsunamis. In fact, the word tsunami itself comes from the Japanese language. Tsu means harbor and nami means wave, so it means harbor wave. Because Japan had so many tsunamis, the word became known all over the world. About 90% of the world's earthquakes and 75% of its active volcanoes are in this Pacific Ring of Fire. Because of its location, Japan has always been in a danger zone. But maybe because of this, Japan has become a world leader in protecting against damage from earthquakes and tsunamis. Buildings in Japan must follow very strict earthquake-proof rules. There are 3 levels. The basic one is the Taishin standard. It sets rules for how thick pillars, walls, and beams need to be, so the building doesn't shake apart. The second level is the Seismic standard. It's for tall buildings and adds dampers to soak up the earthquake's energy. This often means putting large, thick rubber pads under the building's foundation. But the strictest, most advanced level is the mentioned standard. Here, the entire building is separated from the ground using layers of lead, steel, and rubber. This way, if the ground shakes, the building stays much more stable. The famous Tokyo Skytree Tower uses this system. It's one of the most earthquake-safe buildings in the city. When a massive 9.0 earthquake hit Japan in 2011, the Skytree wasn't damaged at all. Japan also has several ways to protect against tsunamis, but they haven't been quite as successful as their earthquake plans. They've planted tsunami control forests, using lots of trees to slow down the waves. They've also built coastal dikes, which are long stone walls. These are expensive, but do help reduce a tsunami's power. There are also tsunami evacuation towers. In crowded areas with a high tsunami risk, people can climb these towers to get to a safe, high place. Japan has also improved its warning systems and holds regular evacuation drills to train people on what to do. Finally, they have built seawalls along the coast. Japan has a 22,000-mile-long coastline, and about 40% of it is protected by these huge concrete walls. But sadly, these walls don't always work, which is what happened in 2011. The tsunami that year was caused by the most powerful earthquake in Japan's history. That tsunami also caused the Fukushima nuclear disaster, where nuclear reactors were damaged and leaked radiation into the Pacific Ocean. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami were a terrible disaster for Japan, killing about 20,000 people. After that, the government made its safety rules even stricter. Thankfully, the earthquake this year wasn't nearly as deadly. If you found this video interesting, you can check out our video on the Chernobyl nuclear disaster by clicking here. It covers the worst nuclear disaster in world history. Thanks for watching.